All right, folks, welcome to our 9th Global Opportunities Conference. Let me invite you to come, grab a seat. Maybe you want to pick up a cookie or a cup of coffee as you come. Our day today is going to be, at least in my vision of the day today, which often doesn't materialize, informal, fun, instructional. We want you to enjoy your time here, so here I am shutting down the conversation and all that and forcing you to come and sit in the seat. So I apologize for undermining what I'm trying to do, but do feel free to have fun, to enjoy, to laugh at people's jokes. These Brazilians that we have speaking here up from the Amazon, just the idea of bringing the guy from the Amazon jungle to Boom this morning, there's an irony in that, and the weather and what they've been through already. But we're delighted to have you. So I am Marty Mesner. I work in the Walker College of Business here at Appalachian State University. And my job is to promote internationalization, promote global-mindedness among our students. So this day is part of what we want business students and students across campus to experience a broader perspective. These kinds of events, even though the Walker College of Business is the catalyst behind it, are impossible to accomplish without the help of a wide array of organizations and individuals. So we have some sponsors. I don't know if they're listed in the short version of the program, but in the long version of the program online, you can see that the Quality Enhancement Plan of the university has helped sponsor this organization. The Office of International Education has helped sponsor. Holzhauser lecture on ethics, that fund has helped. And these things wouldn't happen without the help of sponsors. So I would like to publicly express gratitude to all those who have been involved in making this thing happen. The other thing that would keep this from happening would be if we didn't have the support of university leaders behind it. So we are going to, in a minute or two, give them the opportunity to speak to you. The Dean of the College of Business, Heather Norris, is very, very committed to the global-mindedness goal that we have for students across campus. Dr. Jesse LUTABINGWA, he runs the international programs campus-wide. He is committed to the internationalization of the campus. Our provost, Dr. KRUGER, is as well an embodiment of the international emphasis that we place on education at Appalachian. So you'll hear from them briefly. If it weren't for the support of the leadership, these things would not happen as well. So thank you. We are, in my opinion, in a little bit of a bubble in Bloom. It's a beautiful place. It's a remarkable spring morning to drive this point home. But there is a sense in which we are really fortunate, we're really blessed to be in a corner of the world where the environment is clean, the water is pure, and it's not like that everywhere. Even those, I guess, who feel that we could get away with focusing in our little corner of the world and just emphasizing that, I think the events of last night demonstrate. This is like I'm talking about the bombing of Syria by U.S. planes, or airbase in Syria, suggests that we don't live in a bubble. We may think we do sometimes, but we need to be globally engaged. We are part of a broader community. We can have an influence for good. And one of the things that I really like about the student body at App is that commitment to do good, to extend our area of influence in positive ways. So kudos to our students. For the first time in these different events that we do, someone has prepared remarks for me. So I'm stepping aside and I'm channeling someone else now as I tell you important things. So please listen. One is that this is a zero-waste event. So we're trying to practice what we're going to be preaching in terms of sustainability today. The recycle bins, you can put in everything except stuff that is compostable. The compostable stuff goes in the actual trash can, and it's going, I'm told, to be composted somehow. So if you have something that doesn't fit in either of those bins, it's not recyclable or not compostable, back in Walker Hall, or back in Peacock Hall, Walker College, you can go over there and throw it in different trash cans. But for here, if we're going to do zero waste, your option is recycle or compost. So those are your options. If it doesn't fit, pretend it wasn't generated by our conference and throw it off in some other, and so we can say our conference generated zero waste. A little bit of a history for what's going on today. This is, as I mentioned, our 9th annual Global Opportunities Conference. And it highlights innovative and entrepreneurial ways of addressing global challenges. Our goal is to inspire students, faculty, and the local community to use their knowledge and skills in the business of building a better world. Wow, that is so much more eloquent than I would have come up with. Haley, thank you. That is really good stuff. Today is the 9th annual event. Many of you may not know that today's conference was originally created by an undergraduate student while she was here on campus because of her work. So students, you really have a lot of influence going on here. If you have a vision, and Ed would be, sorry. If you have a vision and an idea, we are here to help you make that idea come true. Through international programs, the Walker College of Business offers transformational educational experiences to our students and prepares them to be responsible global citizens. So that's what we want. Sometimes, from my perspective, you students are way ahead of some of us in faculty. So we want to eliminate barriers for you to accomplish good things in your careers. 200 Walker College of Business majors travel abroad each academic year, most on faculty-led programs designed and led by our international-minded faculty. This year we had 19 proposals from faculty to take students traveling around the world with them and teach them courses. That is as strong of evidence as we can provide of how globally minded our faculty are in the College of Business. Campus-wide, we have, I don't know, 70, 80 of these. So we really are committed across Appalachian, not just the College of Business, providing global experiences to engage our students beyond Boone and beyond North Carolina. We support student experiences abroad through scholarships each semester, totaling an average of about $15,000. This is just the Walker College of Business, just international travel scholarships. Office of International Education offers scholarships. There are a lot of other ways that you can tap in to finding funding sources for your international experiences because we believe they're really important and wanting to be able to participate. We will hear today from one of our WCOB majors, Moxley, who is sitting. She showed up. We're relieved to see her here this morning. We'll be hearing from her. She was also a scholarship recipient and participated in a program, Business and Society and Sustainability in Brazil. And both our main speakers are from Brazil. And Allie, for reasons that she may or may not go into, was unable to attend the whole meeting session with, where's Victor? Yeah. Victor, oh, you guys aren't sitting here. This throws me off. With Victor Salviati. So she has a second chance now to hear what Victor has to say, maybe uninterrupted. We're so happy to have Gabrielle Hibemboy and Victor Salviati here from the Sustainable Journalism Foundation. And at lunch, we'll hear from industry experts in sustainability, Gretchen Digby, of Ingersoll Rand, Michael Chenard, formerly from Lowe's Companies. Gabrielle and Victor are staying at the Holiday Inn Express. The Holiday Inn Express is right next to Lowe's. And Gabriel's eyes just lit up. He had Googled where the hotel was, and he was thrilled that the hotel was right next to Lowe's because he likes Lowe's for shopping more than Walmart or Best Buy, which are usual destinations for Brazilians visiting the U.S. So Lowe's, kudos to Lowe's. Is Michael here? I think he is no longer at Lowe's, but he was there for many years, and he'll have stories about the Lowe's efforts at sustainability. And from our college, we have Dr. Panwar and John Whitehead. We'll be hearing from them on a panel at lunch as well, who do research in sustainability and environmental economics. So, and then I have everything else you might say, but I really don't have time for everything else I might say. So without further ado, and a big welcome on behalf of the Walker College of Business. I will invite, unless Meredith stops me, I will stop you. Okay, our provost, KRUGER, to greet you all as well.
Good morning. It's good to see everyone. At the outset, I want to say, Marty, someone to write remarks for me. Keep me on track. So if you don't like my remarks, I wrote them, I apologize. And then secondly, you can tell from my accent, I'm South African, so I'm accustomed to more subtropical climates. And I lived in Illinois for about a decade, and when I walked up here today, I thought I was in Illinois. So hence why I'm wearing a leather jacket and not a suit coat, which I do have. I do have a tie. Chancellor here today? The Chancellor's comments about there's no down dressing for the provost or any administrators. So this would be considered down dressing. Well, welcome. Good to see everyone on a cold and kind of dreary day. Welcome to the 9th Annual Global Opportunities Conference, Balancing People, Planet and Profit. I welcome all the guests, but especially representatives from the Sustainable Amazon Foundation. I applaud Heather, Marty, and the Walker College of Business team for their leadership and commitment to this conference. Marty, in his remarks, referred to high-impact academic practices, and we didn't collaborate on our remarks since these were written by someone else. But I did have that in my remarks because as provost, I think that's one thing we pride ourselves on, is the high-impact academic practices that our students engage in for the transformational education experience. And I think as I looked at the program for today, it was very, very evident that our students are going to be significantly enriched by the experience that they have through this conference. So thank you to the college leadership for that. Sustainability and global engagement are at the heart of this gathering today. I think it's in the title and it's in the program. And these two mutually reinforcing themes are part of our institutional DNA at Appalachian. I think even if you took a cursory read of the strategic plan, it would be hard not to see the footprint of sustainability and global engagement. And it's not just in our strategic plan. I think we do this each day and each week and month and academic year for our students. I think our external accolades and recognition through sustainability and global engagement rankings is evidence of the work that faculty and staff do each day to prepare globally engaged graduates who will be stewards for a brighter future for all of us. A focus on Brazil is especially fitting and relevant. You might ask why. Of course, Brazil is part of the BRICS countries and part of the IBSA Dialogue Forum, which was established about a decade ago. And of course, Brazil is the 5th largest country in the world in terms of geographical area, but also in terms of population with over 200 million people. So it's a significant region and country in the world where much of this important work continues and will enable a brighter future for all of us. So again, I thank you for inviting me just to share some remarks this morning. It's good to see so many people, many I know, many I met for the first time. I wish you a productive and rewarding conference and look forward to seeing you next year again. So thank you.
Good morning. I really like to be invited to this event every year, but this year particularly is very special for me because I did not know I've been promoted until this morning. And so when I arrived here and I was looking in the program, I told KRUGER, who was my boss, I said, please, you need to tell me when you have promoted me so that I don't find out when I go to this kind of event. So thank you for promoting me. I take it very seriously. I want to add my words of welcome to all of you for coming to this 9th annual Global Opportunities Conference. I particularly want to welcome to our campus our guests from Brazil, Gabriela and Victor. We are happy you are here, and we look forward to engaging with you now and maybe in the future. This year's conference highlights the importance of sustainable practices while raising the broader question of how businesses can balance the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit in the environment throughout the globe. This theme is very fitting for our campus, where we have developed a very strong focus on sustainability, as the provost said, in our business practices, but also in our academic programs. Sustainability also ties in with a strong global engagement focus for our university. Sustainability and economic development are not mutually exclusive. Striking a balance between unbound economic growth and sustainability is very important. I strongly believe that sustainability is a fundamental component of building stronger community, not only in terms of physical environment, but also for economic prosperity. Although the nexus between sustainability and economic development may not always be apparent, it will certainly vary from country to country. Businesses, non-government organizations, and governments around the world are providing leadership and advancing economic strategies that incorporate environmental stewardship without compromising the well-being of the population. The triple bottom line of people, planet, and profits in environment is one of those strategies. At Appalachian, I'm very pleased that we have selected global engagement and global learning as a strong focus for our campus, and events like this help our students and our campus to broaden the horizons in terms of things that are happening around the world. I want to commend Meredith Church, Marty Mesner, Dr. Heather Norris, the Dean of the College, and all the faculty members within the College of Business for providing a lot of opportunities for our students to engage with various issues globally. I wish you all a productive conference.
Good morning, I'm Heather Norris, and I have the best job on campus. I get to serve as Dean of the Walker College of Business. Our predecessor, Randy Edwards, always said it was the best job on campus, and now I know why, because I get to work with folks in the room who are doing such amazing things in advancing our mission. I'm going totally off script, by the way. So, Marty, Meredith, I want to again applaud you for leading this conference 9th year in a row. Again, you heard from Marty, started by a student while she was here as a student. So that's the power of an educational environment like ours, to be able to listen to student voices, hear their ideas, and help them realize them, and to grow, and then take what they have planted, the seeds they have planted, and make them into something like we have today. So thank you all for your vision, your ideas, your passion, and your involvement and engagement in what we do each and every day here. I also want to make sure that we thank those of the individuals who put the program together, because without them we're lost. They make us look good, they give us words to say, and they make sure the food and the technology and the wonderful music is where it's supposed to be, when it's supposed to be, behind the scenes, and get me where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be. So thank you all, Walker College staff, for all the support that you do to keep us going. And I also want to thank our sponsors who supported us in so many ways, including financial. The Office of the QEP, Jesse, thank you for OID's involvement in the James Holzhauser Ethics Program. I don't know if Jim Westerman is here. There he is. Thank you, Jim, for your involvement and support, and it means a lot to us. So without further ado, I just want to again support what Provost KRUGER shared about our commitment to sustainability and to global mindedness. It's obviously now more important than ever that we that we highlight these things and talk about them in intentional and meaningful ways. So please get all you can out of the conference that we have today. Engage in conversation, network with those around you, and help us advance sustainable solutions to the global issues that we face now and in the future. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see all these happy faces on such a cold day. I don't know where the snow is, though. Weren't we supposed to have like 5 inches? They're never right. I'm Meredith Church Pipes. I'm the International Programs Coordinator in the Walker College of Business, and I have a pretty good job myself. I actually work at creating opportunities for our business majors to have an international experience, either on the ground abroad or actually creating events like this where we bring folks from abroad to share their perspectives with us here on campus. And my job right now is to introduce the first segment of our conference, which is titled Student Voices. And the theme this year is Seeking Sustainable Solutions in Costa Rica, Belize, and the Brazilian Amazon. And I know we've talked a little bit about Ali Moxley, who's going to share her experiences in Brazil. But we have 2 wonderful leaders from some of our International Alternative Service Experience programs. We have Dylan Turner, who co-led a program to Costa Rica, and then MARISSA Schneider will talk about her experiences in Belize. And what I love about this portion of the day is that we get to see what happens when students have transformational international experiences. And so this is kind of the outcome of what we've all been talking about here so far, of the goals, the reason for our college, the desire for us to create transformational experiences for students, our mission to promote sustainability and an international perspective. And so for me, this is kind of the whole reason we're here, and getting to hear this is the proof that we're getting somewhere with what we're hoping with our goals. So I love the stories that we're going to hear, and I love too that we have a philosophy major, a sustainable development major, and a management major, all thinking about sustainability issues, all of us concerned with ways that we can make good choices for our planet. So I don't want to take up too much time up here, as really you want to hear their stories, but I never miss an opportunity when I'm in front of students to remind you that while you're in college, this is the best time to take advantage of the opportunities you have to actually go abroad. If you can fit it into your schedule, even if it's just a faculty-led program of a week break, but especially if you can do a full semester abroad, make sure to take the time now before you're at a job and don't have the time, just have a 2-week vacation time. And while you can get scholarships to go abroad, so people paying you to go abroad. So keep that in mind, and the Office of International Education and Development has wonderful resources for you. And in the College of Business, I'm there to help as well. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is call up our first student speaker, and each speaker will actually introduce themselves kind of as we go along. Well, we're not going to have a Q&A at the end, so you can have applause and we'll kind of like trade through. Or do you guys want to come sit in the seats? Why don't we do that? Ali Moxley, MARISSA Schneider, and Dylan Turner, please come up to the stage and take a seat.
Hello, I am Dylan Turner, the aforementioned philosophy major, and this is my presentation, No Sabes Nada. I co-led a program in Costa Rica this past spring break from March 11th to the 18th to Villas Macetal Sustainable Farm in Costa Rica. It's about 2.5 hours southwest of San Jose, where we came in. Villas Macetal is a sustainable farm. They do various types of practices, and I'm just going to share with you some of the lessons I've personally experienced. So, in thinking through sustainability, a word you're going to be hearing a lot today, I think it's good to have a good working definition and thinking through what it would look like. Sustainable development is commonly defined through the Rutland Report as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And that kind of gives us a little bit of wiggle room. It's a little vague, you know, we can kind of figure out what those needs are, how we go about meeting them, and I personally fall into the camp of believers that we're going to need to change some of our own practices and habits in order to see that through. So, this was my second time going to this location, evidenced by this picture, 2016, 2017. You can see a drastic difference in angle from my picture. Sorry, I do improv comedy as well, so I'm trying to incorporate that as much as possible. I'm used to moving around a lot too. Some of the lessons I learned. On the left, there's an actual picture from Villas Mastatal. That is their farm. There's crops growing there, various types of plants, though it may not look like the farm that you're used to seeing, which I brought from Google Images there on the right. Villas Mastatal utilize permaculture practices, and permaculture is a philosophy within sustainable agriculture that tries to work with the land, utilize the natural resources that you're given, try to create a waste-free, closed-loop system, and keep things going. Some of the practices that they use are constructing swales, so they'll plant crops along slopes and let the water sit in these little divots so that it can collect the nutrients as opposed to just letting that water run off. Planting crops that have deep, strong root structures, that way they can keep the land from eroding too quickly, and things like that. Permaculture has a lot of different benefits to it, and it can be, the idea is to have it keep going over and over again, be sustainable. And we know, for the most part, our current practices with conventional monoculture agriculture drain a lot of nutrients from the soil, they require a lot of water, and they make the crops a little bit more vulnerable to pests, thus the need for pesticides. Another lesson that I gleaned from Villas Mastatal, alright, it's going to be a little while, is a bit of sustainable economics. So we have a little bit of something like that here in the High Country with the High Country Local First movement, trying to buy local, support your local farmers, etc. They have a similar type of movement, a little bit less formal in Mastatal. So here is some artwork from a man that lives in the community, and this just kind of signifies a bit of a story from last year when I went. Our guide at Villas Mastatal took us to this man's house to buy art. That was not on our agenda, that was not planned. He just took us there to try to help him out. He could have very easily, our guide could have very easily just kind of taken that profit from having these American tourists at their home and just kept us there, but instead he decided to share some of that economic love. And I think that shows a lot about what can be done when there's a sense of reciprocity amongst the community. It makes you a little bit more resilient, so when times are hard, you have somebody there to help you out, as opposed to something like going to a big resort on the coast or in San Jose, where a lot of that money isn't really staying within Costa Rica necessarily. It could be shooting off to whoever owns it elsewhere. So those were a couple of lessons I learned. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet, yet intelligible. Just want to end off with a little story. Last year, as well as this year, we were visited by a man from a local indigenous community called Zapaton, and he taught us about basket weaving that they do there, some of the medicinal plants that they use, and just taught us a little bit about their culture. And both years, he told us a little story, which I would like to share with you all today. The story goes, a professor came to visit a neighboring indigenous community, and in search of medicinal plants, he wanted to take some of that knowledge back home with him. And in order to get to the community, he had to cross a river and had to get a guide to do so. So he found a guide who was willing to take him, and they went on their way. While on the boat, they started talking, and the professor asked, "Sir, do you know how to read?" And the guide said, "No." And the professor says, "What a shame. You wasted half your life." And they go down the river a little bit more, and they end up coming up to some choppy waters, sorry. And the professor flies out of the boat, and he says, help me, I can't swim." And the guide says, "You don't know how to swim? What a shame. You wasted your whole life." Now, that story may be a bit cruel. It's not my story, but I think there is a crucial nugget of wisdom there. We in the global north, developed world, what have you, can often be a little bit hubristic in our thinking that we have the only method, the tried and true, and that we can solve anything. But we should not forget the simple things and not discount that there are other types of knowledge that may not necessarily come from a university or an international panel that could be potentially revolutionary in thinking about a sustainable future. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Marissa Schneider. Excuse me. I am currently a third-year Sustainable Development and Anthropology student here, and I was fortunate enough to be a co-leader on the International Alternative Service Experience program to Belize this past year. I'm very excited and very honored to be speaking here today, so thank you for having me. But the focus, so ASE is our Alternative Service Experience, our short-term service learning programs sent out over fall, winter, and spring break, focusing on a wide range of social justice and equity issues. The topic of my program I was able to co-lead was sustainable agroforestry and community development, excuse me. So we'll be speaking about that today. So Belize is a very small, beautiful Central American country with the Caribbean Sea and a barrier reef to its east, and Guatemala and Mexico to the west. There's only about 360,000 people in the entire country, which is roughly the size of the city of Greensboro. So it's very small, but there is huge biodiversity there. Over 70% of the country is densely forested and covered. So there's a huge population of non-human species there. Our community partner was Spanish Creek Rainforest Reserve, which in the entrance to that is a photo on the right. So Spanish Creek Rainforest Reserve, real quickly, is about 2,000 acres of organic farm and nature reserve. It is right in the middle of the Central Wildlife Corridor, which is one of the most biodiverse areas of the world. Essentially, there's a man from Florida, his name is Mark, and he supported monoculture farming for a very, very long time. And about 15 years ago, had a sort of breakthrough and realized that these cash crop farming practices were degrading the ecology and degrading people's lives. So he did a big 180 and switched into permaculture, which Dylan so eloquently explained. Spanish Creek Rainforest Reserve is a project resulting from this directly. It is completely off the grid. Like I said, it's 2,000 acres of organic farm and nature reserve, and it helps connect a huge tract of land in this wildlife corridor that would otherwise be prone to development projects. So here I am with my faculty partner, two of the farm managers that live on the property, and my co-leader in one of the beautiful bamboo groves. Their main focus on Spanish Creek Rainforest Reserve is agroforestry and timber products. But that is not the only thing they have going. They also have a huge plant and tree nursery to sell on the local market, along with a beautiful garden where they have food that they provide for the workers and for the local community. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay. Beautiful palapas, which are open screened houses, where we stayed. Excuse me. And beautiful, there's a lot of fruit growing on the property, essentially, like jackfruit and grapefruit, beautiful sweet potatoes, and some tamarind that we would crack open and make into tea. So there's a lot of local movements going on this reserve in itself. But essentially, but still the main focus is agroforestry. So agroforestry is a really unique permaculture principle that blends both people, crops, livestock, and trees all in the same area. So our service looked a bit like it's coming. There we go. Oh. Sorry. Basically, it looks a bit like us riding in on a tractor every single day up this beautiful mountain through the jungle with machetes and tools and workers and dogs in tow, leading the space up to this beautiful research and observation center that they are building. This research and observation center is going to be a space for programs and educational groups to come and see the permaculture work that's being done there, which includes a native food forest, a natural wildlife habitat area, and a native spice trail and flowering fruit trail that leads all around the property. That meant a lot of manual work, such as hoeing out, raking, getting huge rocks to make into a beautiful terrace. A lot of digging out huge tree roots. There was a lot of victorious root moments on the program. Working with machetes on the property as well, which was quite a joy, and much more. But also, another huge part of this was the wood shop as well. There was a trained craftsman there named Tony. He was actually, Mark, who was the founder, supported his education to go to a craft school in Guatemala and learn how to make beautiful wood artisan crafts. So we helped with some of the projects, such as shown here, sanding and finishing their gorgeous cutting boards that they make out of timber and bamboo from the property, in addition to bamboo nails, which they will sell or use for local construction purposes. These are some of the woods and trees that they have there. There's so much more to it. But essentially, it was a gorgeous transformational week in the sense that we were able to not only talk and observe this beautiful jungle and see the interconnected relationship of nature. I was able to hold a huge jackfruit, obviously, and see these beautiful foods and trees. But more than that, these conversations that we had shifted to one of new ways of being, new ways of living a more thoughtful, meaningful, articulate, interconnected life. So through this work, and through my time down in Belize, I've been able to see that through full engagement with whatever you're doing, simple living, so that others can simply live, thoughtful dialogue with not only other people, but with the natural world surrounding you, and serving together, that anything is possible through these 4 pillars, whether that be creative problem solving in a time of huge global issues, or just seeing a new way of being that lives outside of the exploitive norms that we often see here. Anything is possible through this work. I was able to see in connection with others. So thank you for your time. I had a whole opening line about how only events like this can get me in a suit, and then they told me I didn't have a dress code. So, I'm Moxley. I am a management major here at Appalachian State. I'm getting minors in sustainable business and nutrition, and I had the opportunity to travel with the College of Business at the beginning of last summer to Brazil. So, let's see.
Point it this way.
Yeah, if you point it over here,
Yeah, just,
it'll work.
Okay, cool. So this is the structure of our trip. When we arrived, we went straight to Manaus. We spent about 4 days there, and then we went to the Adiago Towers and ended our trip in Rio. For the sake of this presentation, I'll mainly focus on our time in Manaus and the Adiago Towers. So when we were in Manaus, we had the opportunity to go visit the Foundation for Sustainable Amazon, their main headquarters. And I should preempt this by saying I was very excited. I was doing an independent study. I had done a bunch of research before I went and had all these questions I was going to ask. And unfortunately, right as Victor began giving his beautiful presentation, I got very, very sick. So while they're out touring the facility, unfortunately, this was me.
I can forward that.
There we go. So I was kind of down and out during that part of the presentation, but luckily that was not our last experience with the foundation. They actually invited us to join them for a service day. So after our time in Manaus, we headed out to the Adiago Towers. And spent some time there, but we were able to travel back to have a service day with the foundation. So here is us. We have arrived.
These are other members from the foundation. We also got to interact with some of the foundation sponsors and an international journalist. And we traveled on a boat to 2 local island communities that the foundation worked with. The first community was here. Upon arrival, one of the first things we noticed was the vibrant island culture that was still very alive and well there. One thing that the foundation was able to do with this community was help set up infrastructure for education. So a lot of the kids had to travel via water taxi every day just to get schooled. And they were able to help build some schools on the island, which allowed not only the kids to have more access to education, but also learn more about their native practices on the island. And we also were able to eat at a local restaurant. So as some of the infrastructure on the island was being built, there would be workers at the end of the day that were hungry. And some of the women on the island viewed this as an opportunity to start their own business. FAS was able to help them get a micro grant, and this is us eating at that restaurant. It is a business that's doing very well. We then traveled to the second island community, which was completely solar powered, which was super cool. And they also had some initiatives where they were starting school gardens on the island. We were able to talk to a logger who used to be in the furniture business and just didn't really have a grasp that the rate at which he was cutting down trees wasn't particularly sustainable. FAS was able to communicate with him, and ultimately he ended up opening more of a sustainable tourism business and transitioned into that. There was also a woman on the island that was very interested in jewelry making. This is actually one of her pieces. She took nuts off the island and made it into jewelry. FAS was kind of able to help her start her business, promote her business, and she's actually received some international recognition for her pieces at this point, which was very cool. So both of these communities were really just examples of how FAS is able to meet these communities where they're at and work with them there. And it definitely personally affected me because it showed me a real life example of going into the community and seeing their practices and their passions and working with those to create more sustainable solutions. I will leave you with a quote from Dr. Mesner, which is, "You may hate me for the rest of your lives, but you sure won't forget me." It's very true, Dr. Mesner. We will not forget you. Thank you for leading that trip, and I really enjoyed my time in Brazil. Thank you, guys.
I just like to say that that's taken out of context. You can't understand what's we had a group decision we need to make, and we chose, I thought, the more exciting decision, and if it crashed, they would hate me for the rest of their life. But it worked out okay, and Alice and I still talk. So, matter of fact, not only do we talk, since she missed Victor's lecture, we went to all the trouble to bring Victor here so he can give that lecture again. So this time, she won't be out of the hand with a plastic bag. We actually had to banish her from the meeting of the lecture because it was very distracting to have her retching all the time while Victor was speaking. So great that you have another chance at that. Faculty get a tremendous amount out of these study abroad programs as well. We claim we do it for students to expand their minds, but every time we go, our minds get expanded as well, and we learn new things. And it rejuvenates, I think, our ability to relate to students and the content of our classes. So there are benefits all around. I've been taking students to the Brazilian Amazon for a number of years. And every time I go, I learn something new. When we started doing these programs, we worked with community organizations, actually faith-based organizations that could get us into communities along the river so that we could see how people live, we could meet them, we could break bread with them, get to know them, hear their stories. And it was, in my opinion, wow, the best thing in the world to do that. More recently, since we've been engaged with the Foundation for Sustainable Amazon, or Sustainable Amazon Foundation, They have brought a level of content to this program that we didn't have before. And I'm not dissing the previous programs, but when Victor was speaking to us at the Foundation for Sustainable Amazon last year, he brought biology, he brought science, he brought a bigger context of the Amazon's role in the world. And he debunked some concepts about the Amazon that were not quite correct. And he discussed other important roles that the Amazon plays, the biodiversity, the different water levels, and my jaw just dropped for the small part that I could be there, because most of the time I was out with Ali taking pictures of her throwing up instead of being at a lecture. But it was a higher level of program than we had run there before. And I was so excited by what they brought, plus the fact that it's Brazil, 5th largest country in the world. It doesn't get maybe the, I'm not sure if it deserves the respect, but it doesn't get much respect in international circles for what it does and what it offers on a global scale. So I felt it was time to focus on the Amazon, and there was no better organization that I had come across than the Sustainable Amazon Foundation that works in community, works to protect the Amazon, works to sustain the ecology that affects the globe, brings science into it as well as a real human perspective. So our theme of people, profits, and planet is kind of embodied in this organization. They are equipping people to be entrepreneurial in their communities to generate income, profits. They are in community development. They are in sustainability. So it's a great honor, in my opinion. It's not just because I'm listed. To have Victor Salviati, one of the key leaders of the Sustainable Amazon Foundation, come here and help us learn about the role of the Amazon and the impact that we can have outside of our Boone bubble. And I love this bubble. I've lived in this bubble 10 years. Boone is a wonderful place. We are really privileged to work, study, live in this beautiful corner, but it does have kind of, at least for me, since, oh, this is great, I can relax, we're in good shape. But the whole world is not like that. We need to have an impact. We need to go beyond our bubble. And Victor, if you would mind coming up, you'll help us think beyond our bubble. For those who haven't gone, if you've been to Costa Rica, if you've been to Belize, if you've been to the Amazon, that bubble is burst. But some of us don't get that opportunity. Please come up and help us.
Thank you, Professor. You set up the bar very, very high. So now I have to be very confident to keep up. Bom dia, good morning, for those who do not speak Portuguese. My name is Victor Salviati. I'm going to have like a bad cop, good cop approach with you guys. I'm going to present some facts about the Amazon, about what we are facing, not just the Amazon, but the entire global climate. And then we're going to have the DARRELL, who's the smartest guy that I know. He's going to be the good cop with some very good ideas and proposals and this kind of thing. So do not take me wrong, okay? Wait for him. So, I will go to jump in. What's wrong? So why are we going to talk about the Amazon? What's happening? Then what's the Amazon? We think like the Amazon is like a e-commerce something. No, the Amazon is a place. People live there. So it's something that we have to be careful. And then some success in the Amazon, which is the Sustainable Amazonas Foundation, Fundação Amazonas Sustentável in Portuguese. I'm going to show you some slides on what we have been doing. And of course, thank you, Professor and Meredith and all the Walker College people to embrace us here. It's very, we are very pleased to be here, talk about our realities and seeing the opportunity to engage with bright minds like you guys. Okay, this is the very, sorry. This is the Encontro das Águas, so it's the place which the Black River, Rio Negro, and the Solimões River, the Brown River meet. It's beautiful. This is, of course, a flight shot, but it's beautiful. And so what's wrong? This is a picture took in the community that professor and other students went during the dry season, so you went in the wet season, so it was not like that. But this is something that's going to happen every time more and more intense. Okay, so what's wrong? This is IPCC chart. I don't know if you're familiar with the IPCC. This is a bunch of old and white guys discussing climate, very, very high level technicians, and they have this crazy graphics that's quite difficult to understand, but this is quite easy. So the IPCC, they have a lot of scenarios. This is one of the things that's a bit confusing, but I picked this chart because it's quite easy. So we have like 4 scenarios. So this is from the beginning of the last century until wherever the Earth goes. We are somehow here, and doing the projections, we are following the green line, which is not that bad. It's not green good, it's green bad. Doing other projections, and thanks for your president that did what they did with the coal and industry and stuff. We are moving for the next 10 years, according to projections, so it's like looking to the future. Glass ball. We are moving to the red scenario. So, and this is something, when you see like this, and if you don't believe reincarnation like I do, you say, okay, so, I know, 2097, oh, I need long dead. My grandchildren. Okay, I'm sorry. But this is something that we are going to feeling now. I may be mistaken, but this is in spring. And we are like, I don't say Fahrenheit, but 32 degrees or 30 something is not common. I believe this is the first time I'm here. I see this not common. There in the Amazon, it's raining like hell. It's not common in this time of period. So things are changing. So the first thing that I'd like to share with you that when you see at the CNN and ABC, whatever, say the global warming is a hoax or something, they may be right, because they're not talking about global warming, they're talking about climate change. So climate change is real. Global warming can be, okay, you can discuss with your Trump supporter, that's a hoax, okay? But climate change is not a lie. It's happening, and it's happening now. It's not like, oh, in 30 years we're going to be, no, it's like now, just now. So this is very important, the difference between global warming and climate change. The global mean temperature is rising a little bit, and you say, okay, so it's going to rise something like half a degree Celsius. So it's, okay, instead of, I don't know, 30 Fahrenheit would be 31. Okay, deal with that. It's very, very important because this has a huge impact on flourishing and bee pattern behaviors. And I don't know if you're aware of that, but we have been suffering ecological crisis because of the bees. They are not doing their job as they need to do because of us, because we have been polluting and messing around the whole environment. So bees, it seems like a little bit, but when you go in an ecological patterns, and I'm biologist, so it doesn't matter, but everybody needs to know that, it goes in a cascade event. So it's trying to like a chaos theory, you know? When a butterfly flies in Japan, you have a hurricane like this. There's a cascade event, all linked, all together. So tiny differences can go bad or good. It's happening. So this is the Guardian from late last year. The Zika virus has a huge, the offspring of Zika virus has a huge influence on the climate change and vice versa. So people there in Brazil are suffering, northeast basically, not northern, because of these rain pattern changes. So making the mosquitoes and the virus thing getting more and more impact. The sea level has been rising, and it is a little bit, but I don't know if you're aware, our planet has something like 7%, 75% actually, of sea, of water. So if you I mean, increase, this is something like 4 millimeters. Imagine 4 millimeters in 75% of the Earth. So it's big, it's huge. So we have to be very, very aware of that, and mostly the tendency. So this is 1995, this is 2015, so it has been raising a lot. This is some hard science thing. This is the current April for yesterday. The CO2, which is the main greenhouse gas that we are spraying around the world. From yesterday, this is a reading. We should not overpass or go beyond 350 parts per million of CO2. And we are reaching 410. Good job. We are doing a very nice thing. So we have to, from here to here, as fast as we can and as efficient as we can. So again, this is not something for 2130 or from 100 years from here. This is something that we need to do now. It's fast. We need to be fast. This is a WWF study that was a very nice one. It begins in the 70s. They are calculating, I'm not going to do in the technician, but it's very solid. They do the math and see how we are going to use the word. This is the ecological footprint. So how we are going to use our land, water, and other natural resources. So in the 70s, we are using one Earth. That's good. We just need one, and we have just one actually. I mean, besides NASA is looking for other Earth-like planets, but still, we have one. By 2010, you were using 1.5. Okay. Within 30 years or so, we are going to use something like 3 Earths. And again, we have just one so far. So this is very, very disturbing. And more disturbing is that this is the global average. If you go to places like Tanzania and DRC, they are using like 0.7 Earths. And if you go to places like the US or France or Germany, they are using almost 5 Earths. So people are using my part of the Earth. And you guys, and I'm including here, we are using more Earth than we need or than we have. So this is something very tricky. This is also very tricky. So what's the Amazon like? We have, for our surprise, several Amazons. So the very first one, we have the geography of the Amazon. So Amazon is somewhere southern. We have 9 Brazilian states within the Amazon and 6 countries with the Amazon basin. So the very first one is the Amazon basin. It's a huge river. I mean, complex. Several rivers and this kind of thing. So this is the largest water reservoir of the world. So if you are thirsty, you have to go there. This is plenty of water. Oh. And then you have the Amazon biome, which is the hugest, largest, immense forest that you're going to see. I have been to Malaysia, I have been to DRC, I have been to Tanzania, and other places of the Central Africa, and not just because I'm a Brazilian, but probably because I'm a Brazilian. This is amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I'm a biologist, this is amazing. So, and then, why is so amazing? Not just because I'm a Brazilian or a biologist, because, and then we have the size of the Amazon. So, the legal Amazon, the Brazilian Amazon has this figure, so something like 5 million square kilometers, and 14 European countries have the half of the Amazon. So you can put the European Union, except from the, where is UK? Oh, there's no UK here, so it's very updated. So you can put the European Union here and still have some space to put some places there. So this is very, very important. We are talking about a huge area. Another thing about the Amazon is that this is Brazil chart. Okay, sorry, Brazil map. It's in Portuguese, but it's very easy. So it's the Brazilian map of poverty. And as the colors get darker, you get more poverty. And poverty is something like the UN established, like less than $1, $1.50 per day, and misery is less than 50 cents per day. So the Amazon is this square here, not more technical, but still. And as you can see here, Brazil is not a very rich country, but the Amazon is very dark. So we have poor people living there. Very, very poor, mostly, and unfortunately. But the things like, despite the richness of this place, we have poor people. So we are not able, so far, to convert, transform richness and wealth. So this is one challenge that I was going to show you with more smiling than I am. We have to get these environmental, social, cultural assets and put money on that. Transform these or these on wealth. One of the wealthiest things and richest things that I think from the Amazon, and one thing that we were discussing yesterday, that everybody thinks that the Amazon is the lung of the planet. And unfortunately, this is wrong. Again, I'm admit. Everything that the Amazon produces as oxygen and CO2, which is very good because the greenhouse phenomenon makes the temperature good. Not here outside, but if you go to the tropics. But the thing that the Amazon is the water pump for the world. So our trees produces water by transpiration, and also the thing that I'm very complicated to say is the VOC, volatile oxygen compounds. Making a long story short, is a thing that makes water combining with clouds, and then you have the rain. This is very, very important here. Okay, so this is Amazon fog. So this is the tree sending water vapor to the atmosphere. This is early in the morning, and then you have this cloud formation. So every time that you go to the Amazon, it depends. I mean, if you go to the Brazilian, Colombian, whatever Amazon you go, you're going to see a phenomenon very, very beautiful that I just realized I didn't put here. It's like a rain, very concentrated rain. So you're just not walking, but swimming in the river, and then there's a rain like 2 kilometers ahead. And when you are in your place, it's sunny. It's kind of magical. But this is because of the trees and these fogs. Could you just click on the map, please? And then the movie. This is, thank you very much. Okay, this is a satellite from you guys, NOAA. It's from 2013. Every day, every hour, and then here you have the water vapor running from the entire globe. When it's kind of red here, you're going to see it's a heavy storm. So you have like several places producing water, basically in the tropic here, in the equator, mostly in the oceans, and a little bit here in Central Africa, DRC, Congo Basin, and here in the Amazon Basin. As you can see here, it's a pattern. The Atlantic Ocean pushes the water vapor through the Andes and then kicks back to the South America. So the water that is produced here rains in the largest and more richest area of soybean and cattle ranch in the world, which is Central Brazil. And of course there is some rain in Argentina, but it doesn't matter. But then it's very important that what we are doing here is that if, and I'm going to say because if we stay, and I'm a beef steak lover, our habit of eating steak and beef is having these guys, farmers guys, producing more soy and steaks. But they are, of course, deforesting the Amazon because they need more space, because the cattle and the soy, they need more space. If they are deforesting the Amazon, they're not going to have water because the rain is going to be compromised. So they're going to get more money, they're going to spend more money on artificial irrigation. And then the beef and the steak is going to get more expensive. Now this affects me. So I don't need more expensive steak. So this is the rationale, one type of rationale that we can go for. Please, I need you to click. Okay, thank you very much. So this is the forestation in the Amazon in spectrometers. It has been very, very high. Now it's not that high if you look in a big picture, but it's still very high. So this is something like one football field. So 8,000 square kilometers, you were talking about 8,000 football fields. So it's big. Scientists says that we should have something like 1,000 per year. So we are 8 times more than we need, or than we have to be. And then the greenhouse gases emissions, when you change forests for farming, cattle ranch or something, it represents something like 12 to 20% of all global emissions. And then you have this scenario here, like extreme events like drought. This is a flood, and this is quite disturbing. This little fella here, his job is to plant banana and cocoa. So imagine you guys, you wake up in your room, house, whatever, and then you have like an email say, you are fired. I'll say, okay, I'm fired. And then you say, you have to leave your house. Okay, I have to leave my house. So I have some savings. I have my mother's house, okay? No, we have no savings. Your mother's house is down the water. So what do? You're going to post on Facebook? No, you don't have Facebook. Like big tests, you don't have Facebook. So this is 2014 flood at the Rio Madeira River, Central Amazonas state. So this guy, he wake up, the river was, within 2 weeks, the river went 2 meters higher from the highest event. So it's something like within 2 weeks, not like, oh, let's move, because no, there is no, what's this name of the Noah boat, something like that? The Noah, they gave Ark, thank you. It's something like within 2 weeks. So he got, his business were vanished. So this is very, very disturbing. Finally, the Amazon could be summarizing with this picture. So very firstly, we have a lot of trees, we have a lot of water, we have some native, pristine forest, and some managed forest, and we have people. So this is very, very important. We have people there. Oh, but just a little communities, like you guys, you went there, but there are people. And those people are very, very responsible to keep these up. So we work with these people. So we are Sustainable Amazonas Foundation, some merchandising now. So we have this mission, it's very, very aligned with the profit people and planet global opportunities event. So we work with environmental conservation, the well-being and income generation to support those people to keep the forest up. So this is a holistic approach. This PowerPoint presentation is available. I'm going to give you so you can use it. I'm going to run all these. Our thematic driver is the Sustainable Development Solutions, the SDGs, which were signed or agreed in 2015, September 2015. We have a bunch of people supporting us in many ways, and one of the other bunch of people that would like to see together with us, as we have been talking with Professor Martin, is you guys, or are you guys. So it's very, very important. And of course, we have some people putting money here, and other putting the minds and the brain and the hands with us. And we need all kind of help that we can get and you can offer. Our partners, so some merchandise that I mentioned. This is the second largest bank in Brazil, Bradesco Bank. This is the state of Amazonas government. This is the Brazilian Development Bank, the Amazon Fund, Coca-Cola, of course you know Coca-Cola, and Samsung, which is better than Apple. So, where we work. This is the globe, the Amazon. This is the state of Amazonas, and these green areas are the protected areas that we work with. 581 communities. We're talking about 90,000 families, 40,000 people in an area of 11 million hectares. I mean, again, 1 hectare, 1 football field. North Carolina has something like 14 actually, million hectares. So we work on an area the size of North Carolina, more or less. Charlotte has 77,000. So it's something like, 100, actually 1,000 times, 100 times, sorry, Charlotte. And Boone has something like 2,000 hectares. So it's something like 10 million, no, sorry, I'm a biologist.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. You can place a lot. Thank you. A lot is very scientific. You can place a lot of boom cities there. Again, some highlights. So we're talking about something like 10,000 families, 40,000 people, and we work in a bottom-up approach. This is very, very important. We are not like technicians that have a solution or talk with a gringo guy like you guys and say, okay, I just figured out how to do sanitation. That's the package. Deal with that. No, it's not like that. We facilitate a lot of workshop communities in the communities, and people have to participate. So like here, you are offering free lunch. We do the same thing there. So people can come with their families, so they join the discussion. This is very, very important. People need to be aware and need to participate. Free lunch is a deal. There is no free lunch, but still, free lunch is a deal, so let's bring free lunch. And I'm going to show and finish my presentation with some pictures. So this is the pirarucu fish. This is not that big. Pirarucu fish, I forgot how to convert, but something like 2 meters high, which is
6 feet.
6 feet, and something like 200 kilos, which is
400 pounds.
400 pounds. So it's a very nice fish. You can fish, of course, in a sustainable way. These guys that work in a sustainable way because they learn through traditional knowledge, and we are engaged with professional scientists, science-based professionals, to help them to make these more efficient and monitoring this efficiency. Cocoa nut with chocolate, it's amazing, very, very delicious. Very interesting here. Amazon nuts, everybody knows as the Brazilian nut or just nut. I have to say to you, it's Amazon nut because you have in Colombia, you have in Peru, you have in Brazil, so Amazon nut from now. Okay, oops. Timber management, and this is another thing that I have to be a bad cop with you guys. A difference between preservation and conservation. When I say preserve the Amazon, you are saying, I'm here, when you say preserve the Amazon, I hear do not touch the Amazon. Because preserve is like part, you cannot touch, you cannot use. But we have, 40 million people living there, so it's very easy to us here, do not touch the Amazon. And I'm living in São Paulo, I'm living in Boom. We have to touch the Amazon, but in a very smart way. So we need to conserve. So timber management is something to do. So we do, actually they do cut trees, but in a sustainable FSC pattern, approach. You can do it. It's very easy. It's kind of expensive, but it's very easy. Okay, water capture system, social empowerment and leaders, capacity building, formal education, and this is something that I was listening to the guy, he's not here anymore, making the joke between the swimming and the reading, and this is very, 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 very tricky because it's important to read, to have the formal education, but also it's important to have a relevant training education. So for those people who live there, it's important to know, who was, I don't know, Christopher Columbus or Einstein or wherever. This is good, this is knowledge and it opens your mind, but also is needed to swim, how to plant, how to take care of your garden or something. This is relevant to them. And when I was in the college, I don't know, 90% of the thing that I learned was not relevant, like mitochondria, cycles, and photosynthesis. Come on, you have Google, just 30 seconds you have it. I don't know, it isn't relevant. I'm sorry, professors, but it's not relevant for now. We have to look for relevant information. This is tricky, this is challenging. Communication, oops. I spoiled here. Protection of kids and adolescents there and their rights. It's very common, these isolated communities, people drink a lot. And when I say people, I say men. Men drink, we drink a lot. So when we drink, we get some, we are morons, and then we do not do good things to our kids and our wives. So we have to protect them because they are the future. They're going to pass, but they are the future. And monitoring, which is my daily almost routines, we're monitoring everything that we do by the big brother eye here from the satellite. And our vision to finish, and I promise to finish, deforestation is not because we are poor, or they are poverty, or they are stupid. It's something like economic rationale behind that. They have 5, 6 kids to feed, and they have to have money, so they're going to cut the trees. That's it. Simple like that. What we have been doing is to recognize the nature values. There is a value on that. When I say value, there is no like a price tag, but there's a value, cultural, social, and economical value for that. And then you have to make stronger institutions, stronger people within the sustainable development. And then these are going to have or need investments, not just financial, but technical and time investments on income generation, social association, and within the families. And finally, we are going to have a better understanding of the local context. Again, not dropping gringo package of solutions. You have to know the relevant and local context of that. And then we have to force and people living as sustainable development says, sustainability. I'm not a French speaker, but in French, sustainable is durable, which stands for a long time. So this is sustainability, stands for a long time. This was my presentation. I just want to make a very final thing, which is the root cause part, just a little bit. We are going to talk about purpose, and Gabriel is going to lead you guys from this purpose thing, which is very, very important. Leadership is not one guy job. I mean, we need a lot of leaders. And we have now, with the technology, the opportunity that everyone here can be a leader. So let's lead to a good, hopefully, future. And at FAS, we are, as Gabriel likes to say, a disruptive organization. So we are willing to make the difference at a short-term thinking in a long term. And we need all kinds of resources, and the most valuable resources is mind. Actually, resources are minds. I don't want to have a good mind, so minds. And one thing that, if you guys, I'm provoking you, if you guys have restless and questionable minds, please join us on this. We have my mail, the website is fast, is slash here, it's dish dash, hyphen, sorry, Amazonas.org. Go there, we have a volunteer thing, You can go there, work for free like slave, but you're going to enjoy yourself. We're going to help you enjoy yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Questions. If anybody has a burning question that they want to ask Victor or want to challenge him on some of the data, I mean, it's open for that as well. So any questions out there for Victor or anything you'd like him to expound upon? All right, we have a brave soul. I think we have a mic that will come here so everybody can hear the question. We'll all hear his answer, but it helps if we know what the question was as well. And the technology.
There's two right here.
Oh, you got one here. Okay. All right, so you go for it. Right over there in the middle section. Could you raise your hands again?
Thank you very much for your presentation. I really enjoyed seeing the different models and sort of alternatives that you try to provide. I got particularly interested.
What's your name? Sorry.
My name is Maike. I'm a doctoral student from the University of British Columbia. And when you mentioned that sort of the community forestry models that you work with and that certification is an effective mechanism but also expensive, I would be interested how you try to link those operations to the market and what sort of economic opportunities and incentives you try to provide in order to make this sustainable and financially sort of workable. Thank you.
In a minute or less.
Okay, in a minute or less, Gabriel is going to address that, but my quick reaction on that, certification is something that we have to work with for two reasons, because, and I take my mother as an example. My mother is like she doesn't care about the Amazon, she takes the car to go to the corner to buy something, so it's a common average global citizen like us. So when she saw when she sees like a organic certification banana or something, and she sees that is a little bit higher the price, still she buys because she trusts. So certification is something that we trust on, and we need to trust on. This is the demanding side. The offer side is the communities that we work with. It's to make the the process more efficient. Again, we have to work on efficiency in every aspect, and you Americans are very good in efficiency. So we have to get that for a gooder, or a better side, for a better side. So putting efficiency on every process, in getting vegetable oils to the cosmetics or the lipstick, or managing lakes for pelagic fish, or even institutionally. For instance, I don't know, for the next time we can do, instead of flying here, we can do a Skype conference, internet connection, whatever. It's more efficient, sorry. I mean, despite I like to fly and these kind of things, no way in the future, but this is the two things.
Another question? All right, well, we'll move ahead. I should just point out that Victor's flight here got delayed. There was high turbulence. He landed in Raleigh, and then they had to connect him here. So he would much prefer to have Skyped, I'm sure. Thank you very much. One of the things about FAS that has really struck me is this idea of balancing people, communities, planet, the environment, and profit. How do you maintain and raise the standard of living through entrepreneurial opportunities, some of them being disrupted? And we're going to hear more about that from Gabriel in a minute. My role right now, though, is to introduce Dr. Lee Ball, who is the University Director of Sustainability. We really try to practice what we preach here at Appalachian. Dr. Ball is involved in a number of initiatives with others in all colleges across campus to make ASU, Appalachian State, operate in a sustainable manner. Hence the zero waste even here. Hence some photovoltaic cells in front of the buildings created on top of them. Hence a lot of what we do in the classroom as well, getting students abroad to experience the urgency of living more responsibly in this global community of which we are part. So it's a big job that he has. I don't know how he does it as well as he does. But I'm going to introduce now Dr. Lee Ball, who will talk about Gabriel before Gabriel, the good cop, comes up to talk to us this morning. gonna have to get a cup of coffee.
Good morning, friends. Good morning. I've had some mixed messages about the dress code this morning. But I might keep my job now that I have my suit on, my suit jacket. I'd like to, first of all, just thank Dean Norris and Marty and Meredith and the rest of your team, and especially all the students that came and the ones that stayed that didn't just sneak out. Hopefully they were just going to class, right? Of course. Yeah. And just really want to thank you all for coming and learning more about these issues and learning more about sustainability. I feel like I have the best job, in the world, and I think that we just work on the best campus. And you're making my job easy because of events like this, that I don't have to think about organizing them, and we're institutionalizing sustainability, and it's a great thing. So if we continue to do this work and encourage your peers to do that, I might not have to have a job someday, and I could go and help them in the Amazon with their Amazonian Brexit strategy. That was my inspiration, and we can just, Brexit the Amazon. Sustainability is complex, and there's a lot to absorb, and we all connect in many different ways. And I was sitting here thinking about kind of a puzzle analogy, like a puzzle with 1,000,000 pieces or 1,000,000,000 pieces. And as we all learn about sustainability, we're all kind of putting the pieces together slowly to create a larger picture, and we're all getting pictures of those puzzle pieces from different places. So I encourage you to continue to work on your puzzle, because none of us have a complete understanding of what sustainability is or what it means, and we don't need it. None of us have a complete understanding of how to solve all these issues, but I will say that together we can do that, and that's why it's really important to understand and hear from our friends from different parts of the world about their diverse perspectives and about the work that they're doing, and why it's important for us, if we can, to travel. I was fortunate enough to be on that trip with Dylan Turner to Montserrat, Costa Rica. It's amazing what they're doing there to support local economies through permaculture and sustainable practices in a small community, teaching resiliency and in a time that it's really tough. We talk about the boon bubble. The boon bubble is not always comfortable for everybody. People have their challenges everywhere in the world, and there's a lot of people here in this boon bubble that struggle to survive, dealing with food insecurity issues, and so we don't have to go halfway around the world to experience some of the challenges that our friends, in this global nation are experiencing. So, before I introduce Gabrielle, I'd like for us let's just stand up. We've been sitting in our chairs for too long. Exactly. And I know a lot of us like to move and stand up and wiggle. If you need to go get some coffee or beverages in the back, feel free to do that during the remarks. Sorry, right now you can sit back down. We got that to keep us on schedule. I encourage you to go move a lot later. In the cold. In the wind. So, Gabrielle Ebenboim is, and I have a blend of prepared remarks, thanks Meredith, and my own remarks. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Gabrielle. He's a biologist with over 10 years of experience. He's a developer of an array of qualified and innovative initiatives in sustainable development and inclusive economies within vulnerable communities in the Amazon, with a strong focus on multiple benefits. So I see that as what Wendell Berry used to say, solving for patterns. He's an effective fundraiser, securing multi-year, multi-million-dollar resources from corporations, foundations, government institutions in the Americas, Europe, and Asia. He knows how to go out and find money to do this work. He currently works as an independent consultant for non-governmental organizations, including the Sustainable Amazonas Foundation, where he develops projects related to payment for environmental services, innovation for sustainable development, and inclusive economies. So please give a big round of applause and a big Boone Appalachian State welcome to Gabriel Himmelboim.
Good morning. Good morning. Every time I watch, I had the pleasure to watch Victor speaking, I got a little depressed. Just at least for the initial part. And then it's not because he's smarter and more beautiful than I, but because I see that, and I actually do see that on the ground too. But climate change is real. But when we got to the second part, I always think I'm part of the solution too, so we still have some chance to survive in the future. And so, by the way, thanks to Appalachian and Walker College, it has been a pleasure to be here. And Professor Martin, and they are all taking very good care of us. So, my thoughts. Sometimes people say that I'm disruptive. I like the idea. So my thoughts are maybe some confusing. So I thought that would be nice to organize them in like bubbles. And so I start talking about my small view of business. And by the way, who works with business or study business somehow here? Please raise your hand. Biology? Environmental studies? I'm a biologist too, so I know a little about business, but I know enough to get some of my own conclusions. But so I'll talk a little bit about my own perspective of business. I know Victor shares some of them. A little bit about for-purpose business, the potential of the Amazon, a little bit about FAST, and some takeaways I hope that will have to change some minds and make some difference in the future. Not so long. So it's very easy. Business are basically made of people. Business are basically made of environment because they need products, raw materials, energy, water, to make their products, and they also need consumers. So it's not very simple equation. Without environment, there's no people, there's no business. So this is the triple bottom line, as we know. And yeah, it's okay, planet, profit, business, but I think the question here is not if can business find a balance between those three P, but how are they going to do it? We need to. We saw it in Victor's presentation, which by the way was very nice. And so I think we are missing one other P at least in this equation. And for me it's purpose. A purpose to heal, a purpose to recover, to conserve, to preserve the environment, and also to improve world's population life quality. And I will be trying to address purpose as a personal transformation approach later on. And as Victor mentioned, we used to work a lot with this new 17 Sustainable Development Goals that was set up by a international, very good work. And in order to do so, they thought on other extra P's. So as that groups up as people, prosperity, peace, partnership with planet. So I believe business somehow needs to be based on those expanded peace. So I thought that it might be good to talk a little bit about for-purpose business as a way to keep business running. And in order to keep business running or keep business existing in the future, we need to have some business created under the purpose, and also the business that already exists adjust their core business to include some purpose of it. So I thought it would be useful to bring some examples, and this is the one that I most love it. Those guys are some Australian, North American, and I'm not sure if someone heard about DARRELL. I knew them in a Red Bull TV show, something like that. And I love the idea, not just their products. I do skateboard, but that's not the point. Not just from an aesthetic point of view, it's beautiful, but how they created their business. They were a group of people trying to do something. They thought that ocean garbage was a big issue, and actually it is. And they said, we need to do something. So they got a purpose. They didn't have yet a business. And they did some research over a year, and they saw that they could work with fishing nets, which by the way represents 10% of the fish of the ocean garbage, which is a lot. So they were collecting them, doing some research in terms of product development, and they had this idea that they could use the plastic that was in the fishing nets to produce skateboards, glasses, and other stuff, cool stuff. So they started with the purpose, they did some research, and did a very nice final product, and it's going very well. We have also the well-known case of Patagonia. I saw some advertisement here, so I know you know, at least familiar with. So they have their mission, cause no war. We have these very nice entrepreneurs. They develop under the idea of mixing play with energy supply, some small balls that they, with just minutes of play, you can charge something and have some lights for those who doesn't have access to. And we have a Brazilian case here, which by the way is very close to the foundation. I will explain a little bit more, which is a Brazilian design company, and they changed their minds, and they are only working with isolated communities and vulnerable communities to develop products, design products, and also architectural projects that incorporate the ancestrality and the local culture on it, and with but they are not just interested in the product itself. They are interested in having this as a social transformation approach. So it's another business that have a purpose on their core business. We have a B Corps, I'm not sure you know, but you can take a look on the website. We also have a Cradle to Cradle Institute where you can find more about that. And then the other thing I thought was worth saying is that, in my personal view, business needs to be closer to nature and people. So there are many ways to do that. And I can't think of a better place to do that than the Amazon. And I'll explain a little bit more. We need natural solutions or nature-based solutions to happen because they were tested over the time by nature. in their work. And this is a nice website. I'm not good with the mentioning their name, but I'll try. Biomimicry is correct if I'm wrong. And their final saying on the website is very nice. On behalf of 30 million soft-spoken species, thank you. So their idea is to have a database of nature-based solutions. So as an example, you have this well-known case of 3M that copied the Velcro thing from the legs of bugs and things like that. So they develop a wider database so people can save money by copying the nature. And Amazon has like 30% of the world's species, and not going to go through all of them, but it's big numbers. And many of them are endemic, which means that they only exist there, which means that they are exclusive solutions. And so by going there, by studying there, by engaging with local people there, there's like a lot of knowledge that we can share and use in other business and development and so on. So local knowledge is very important. I remember one student here mentioned about the local thing, and we really believe that over the past hundreds years, those guys develop their own way of surviving, of using the biodiverse, wise way. So they have a lot to share. And so fast. Victor talked about FAS. We are still deciding after 9 years how we call it internationally. Have many different ways to do so, but what matters is that we do. And so Victor presents this very beautiful chart, very colorful, and I said I need to select at least one or two, otherwise we need to extend and change our flights for more, maybe a month or so. And so, as I believe purpose is a very key element for this 3P, 4P, 5P, whatever piece. And I believe purpose is a very personal thing. Business are people, but we need to transform people to be able to support them in these findings and personal findings so they can seek their own purpose. Otherwise, it will not work. So I will talk a little bit about our transformation education approach and initiatives, which I hope to engage in future collaborations with Appalachian. Professor said yes, so we had a good chance. And the co-creation of solutions with our partners, communities, and so on. So this is the Amazon School. We have some immersive courses. It's more than those 3 programs. We are always improving and just trying to be disruptive, so always change. This morning have a new one, so didn't have time to put it on the slide. But it all started with the Amazon Summer School. In 2014, we did this first immersive course as we prototype learning by doing and things like that, with a group of 20 students from different parts of the world. And last year we did the 2nd edition. It was amazing. I had a chance to go there and see things happening on the ground. There were, I don't remember, 15 international students. We had 300 applications. We selected profiles, and then we came up with a very unique group. Then we have Amazon Sustainability Journey, which is focused on providing opportunities to executive directors and group of companies and governments and universities, and to be able to support them in this personal transformation, this knowledge exchange with locals, in order to develop skills so they can come up with new and innovative ideas for sustainability in their own places. And then we have this social business school that we developed last year. It was amazing. I have a personal connection, and I will show a little bit more about that. So this is the website, amazonsummerschool.com. I really encourage you to go there and see. I'm not the best guy to speak about that, as we have Raquel, who really deeply thought and developed, and it's a very beautiful work. But it's really focused on developing sustainability leaders, as I mentioned, from worldwide. And there are most students and business people from 20 to 55 or something, the lesson. Yeah, this is the report, so we can go through everything that was happening, the whole steps, and it's really beautiful. This is just a glance of the Amazon sustainability journey that I just mentioned, supporting groups of organizations to seek for their own development, personal and exchange. And in this case, they are trying to be guided by two type of questions. So, what can the Amazon and its community teach us about ourselves, our work, and our choices as society? How can this learning support our decision making towards a sustainable future? So those are the key things that we have to go through. And regarding the co-creation of solutions, it's always a win-win-win, and sometimes more win-win-win, because we like to engage a lot of stakeholders, but in a way that we still can do it in a practical way, not a bunch of people without purpose. And so I will give you a few examples here, and it's worth mentioning which principles guide us in that and how we build those principles. So in terms of not just business, but all the solutions that we foster and try to develop and through co-creation, we are very aligned with our institutional goals, but that was built, and I'm going to jump just a little, was built together with local communities. So we do twice a year a very big event that groups up all the 16 protected area leaders, something about 65 representatives, and together with other experts and partners and so on. And in that case, we brought 14 institutions that are dedicated to support entrepreneurs and impact business development from different parts of the world. So we facilitate some discussions, and it was really beautiful to see. And then we came up with these 5 principles. So everything we'll do will be guided by those 5. Environmental conservation through valorization of the standing forest. We must do some life quality improvement. They must preserve the local culture. They must do some valorization of local products and service, and they definitely need to be new and add some innovation process on that. So this was just a picture of the post-its, just to show that it was beautiful, nice, and cool. And so I'll get 5 or 4 examples of this process. In 2009, that was 2008, one of the first meetings I had in the foundation was with Rebecca Moore. She She leads the Google Earth Outreach program based in California. And I said, no, I'm gonna love this job, man. The first meeting, I'm doing a Skype call. There was no Hangout at the time, so we could use other Google product, non-Google product. And she said, you can do whatever you want. And then we thought, we came up with a new idea because we need satellite imageries. We thought that would be nice to focus on that. But it was like impossible to do it. Many legislations and things like that to put a camera in an airplane. So we said, let's do something very new. Let's bring your cameras, let's do street view in the Amazon. And they said, yeah, that would be cool. But keep that with us, don't tell anybody, and we'll see if we can do that. And then a month or so later, they said, we will have a challenge. We don't know if the cameras will work in the Amazon. We don't know if we can unmount the camera set from the smallest vehicle we have, which is this strike. And then we said, we are here to help you improve your technology. And they took that as a very important project also from that side. From the point of view of the community, they had this need to be seen and to be on the map somehow. And it was not just something that we could measure. It had a very deep impact in the life of the people. Once they saw that they were really on the map, and from our side, it would be great because with a few clicks, a lot of people would know about FAST. And that would be good, I hope so. And then 3 years later, we decided, let's go. So we put on the top of the rooftop of this vault this set of cameras, and this is very heavy. Victor and I, with a lot of help, we put everything on the top of the vault, and we invited a lot of journalists, and it was a kind of a party, but we still, there was this uncertainty if the thing would work or not. So, but we tested. We trained local population to help us to collect the imagery, and it was amazing. When we launched on the Forest Day, International Day of Forests, on March 2012, the first 3 months we got something like 260 million people impacted by this project. And it was amazing. I could spend like my whole life trying to speak, as I'm not a good speaker, but I would spend my whole life if I wouldn't reach this amount of people. And so it was on the notes of the VP of Google, he spoke, and we helped Google Street View for the very first time to change their trends of public acceptances, and in terms of, there was very negative, they were getting a lot of process because my car is there and I was supposed to be in this woman's house, and my wife discovered, so that was the kind of thing they had on the street view. And that was very cool. So we changed it from negative to positive. So they're doing cool stuff. And then we provide them a very good feedback in terms of if the cameras were working or not, what are the strong, the worst part. And we will in a way help them to create this second generation set of cameras, which is, by the way, it's me here. It's me here. I lost something about 3 kilos or 6 pounds carrying that light stuff. And we did a very cool expedition. Like, it was 20 days covering different areas, different affected areas. We covered 20 kilometers of forest trail, 500 kilometers of rivers, and then they said again, yeah, you need to innovate to get this camera again and do something new. And then I said, okay, why don't we put that in a zip line and try to, the initial idea was, okay, let's do something that we can have all these forest stratus. And again, they had some technical challenge. They wasn't able to collect imagery in that direction. So, okay, we are Brazilians, we like to innovate, so let's put on a zip line. Then we climbed the giant Brazilian Amazon tree. And it was beautiful. We spent like a week mounting the whole equipment and so on, and it worked. So you can go to Google Map website and see the whole collections that we made there. Have communities, forests. This was tricky. I started like 6 a.m. and ended up at 6 p.m. the other day, trying to cross and find myself kind of lost. So some of the images are very dark, and this is one of the feedbacks that we provide them. And so you can see local people doing their manual flower, a lot of improvements that FAS did, and you can actually get inside our classrooms and see how things work and things like that. So, right. Yeah, so another nice case is our, as Victor mentioned, our main founder and supporters, Bradesco Bank, and we did maybe 2 innovation projects with them. Based focus on financial inclusion and a micro loan project. So this is to tackle a big challenge. People don't have access to loan in isolated areas, and they don't have access to money. So here they can actually pay their bills, get some money through an internet connection, antenna, and this kind of ATM machine. And so this is happening as a pilot project in 3 protected areas, and we are also providing good feedback in terms of improvements that they need to do. And this was the co-creation of the microloan project for the Amazon. That had a huge impact on the bank view. They were thinking that, okay, as far as we know FAS, we know how we work. So this is a project on microloan, microfinance. And we said, oh, come on, this is will not work. We need to bring in the community, we need to co-create. There are many things that we need to adapt here. And he said, okay, you convinced me. And then we did a full 2 days workshop, and another process, of course, later on, but everybody was happy. We got some videos and testimonials of the staff from Bradesco. They said that changed my view of building programs, of microloan itself, so there are a lot of lessons that they learned. And community will have access to that very soon. We'll launch the project in June. This is Villa Smart. I believe the group of students and Professor Martin saw that in the field. It's a project with Schneider Electric and us and the community to develop and test and develop a new plug-and-play solution for energy generation off-grids, isolated communities. So their challenge was to have access to a continual generation of electricity. They only have 3 hours a day just to see the supernova, some soccer plays, And so, at the end of the day, they created this auto-sufficient electricity, in terms of electricity community, two communities actually. And some things went not so good, others were, and they are building a new second generation of these two. And one thing that it's important to highlight here is that there was many of the members of the community engaged in this initiative as their need is to have a new source of income. And our vision is that we could engage all these hands, and we brought also a Brazilian institution, a government institution that is focused on supporting training. And so they have a course on electricity, and so we put all the hands together, and the local community support the implementation together with Schneider Electric, but the community was trained also to, not just to give maintenance, but also now have energy, so if something breaks or something like that, they can also earn some extra money to as something new. And so this is on Schneider website, so it's a new solution. And they are mentioning us here, and now their idea is to take this to other areas, not just in Brazil, but Africa and other places. We do have a partnership with SAP. I selected a video. This is a nice video, but I don't want to show you. I can share. I can put the link somewhere. The images are beautiful. The project is very nice. But we developed a research R&D project with Visualidade Nova, with Natura, which is our cosmetic company in Brazil. And it's a long story, but I'll try to make it short. There were young people from this community that is very far from Manaus, and they did a course on sustainable management inside protected areas, something that we support and took to that region. And by the end of this course, they came up with a business plan, innovative ideas, and things like that. We got this R&D funding opportunity and support one of the groups that would have more impact than the other ideas that raised up. And they are buying murumuru, which is a small seed or fruit, and angirola, also again a seed. They're pressing this and extracting the oils. And they not just learned how to do it, but the R&D project was a key point there. They adjusted the best equipment to do that, and so they could have the high quality oil. And SAP saw an opportunity to support us, and they had their need. Okay, they have the product, they are young people, but they need to have their management improve their production with better quality. And then SAP came, and we did a partnership to bring their management software. So we have Business One running there. The initial idea was, oh, okay, so you got your internet. What's the speed of your internet there? I said, no, come on, there's no internet there. I said, no, we can only work with where there's internet. They said, okay, we need to come up with a new solution. So they are now, they developed and they're running now about 6 months, offline Business One, which is new, kind of new to them too. And this, I love this, sorry. I can take like hours. This is the main, one of, it's not the main, but outcome of the social business school. We prototyped and implemented last year from July to August. And this is one of the results. I will explain more, there's a video. And it was a partnership with this Rosenbaum design office that I mentioned, their institute, us, the Global Canopy Program, which is a think tank in the UK, Sustainable Development Mamiawa Institute, which is a local research-based institute, Newton Fund, British Council, and one Instituto Loyal Reiner, which is a Brazilian. Okay, so when we thought, okay, let's teach, let's bring some people to learn about the initiatives that we are doing, the initiatives that communities are doing and we don't have nothing to do, and in social business, then said, oh, we could do more. We can co-create products and that represents their ancestrality, their culture. They can see the community through the product, and by that we can open some, hopefully work some market with more value added on those products, a best price, something like that, and transform their local arts crafts, or they're still doing their traditional arts crafts, but now they have this new collection that also represents them. And it's not me saying here, it's them also being part of this, and they can recognize themselves. So by the end of this immersion, was like 12 days, we've got a logo, we've got a video that I will show you, we've got 16 new products and one development that was educative toys. This is a new way also of production that is low impact. These spoons, they used to do spoons, but they cut the whole tree and spent like 70% was lost. And this girl is a designer from England. So we took 5 designers there, and she had a brilliant idea to have the branches, so they don't need to cut the trees to do spoons. So there are KRUGER and different and nice spoons. We also came up with the whole new digital fonts based on the writings of the young people there, and so you can also type in the computer and use your own fonts, which is another source of possible income to the project. So I would like to show this. How long do I have this? Good. It's a 6-minute video, but it's not an excuse not to speak, because I do speak in the video too, so okay.
Sinto muito feliz, né, que vocês estão aqui com nós, aprendendo as coisas com nós, e nós aprendendo com vocês, e muito feliz porque o nosso santo, do nosso padroeiro, está em pé, e nós estamos festejando ele, que é uma coisa assim que nunca a gente esperava. Joana de Souza da Silva, nascida no dia 9 de julho do ano de 1940.
Uma união muito natural, assim, de incorporar o design como um processo. E quanto mais a gente for entendendo e alinhando institucionalmente, a gente viu que a gente estava bem alinhado de propósito.
Até entender por que a gente está aqui. É uma comunidade, são muito poucas pessoas, praticamente é uma família, são 2 famílias que trabalham com artesanato, formando grupo muito pequeno.
Então acho que essa troca ela foi uma troca, não foi algo de chegar impondo alguma coisa e nem apenas de chegar para absorver alguma coisa e levar isso para o mercado. Então acho que funcionou muito bem e ao começo está se acertando. Tem desafios, tem acertos, mas acho que é tudo por um propósito.
Aqui é um fazer novo, poucas pessoas trabalhando e muita gente em volta podendo fazer.
E foi uma das coisas que eu acho que foi mais transformadora, lá está, a usar essa expressão, foi esta ideia de não haver necessariamente a criação de um produto ou um mercado com uma escala e com uma forma de mostrar. Quase que essa pergunta ficou adiada no tempo, apesar de haver já uma ideia de o que é que nós gostaríamos de trabalhar, que tipo de tecnologias, em termos de produto final, é que decidimos trabalhar.
E pensar que a gente precisa olhar para esse produto e encontrar mercado.
Because this project is about trying to new products that have the heart of this little town. I thought it would at least be good if they would really think about stuff that they might also reuse that they could then later on sell.
And it took loads and loads and loads of branches, and that really opened up a lot of opportunities for me, and I could see a lot of opportunities for them in terms of they wouldn't need to cut down the whole tree, they could just take a little bit off.
Senão, daqui está para vender. E as crianças não queriam, porque não é só para vender, nem para as crianças também. Fica mais alegre, tem brincar com coisas.
E a comunidade tinha muitas crianças, eu acho que isso foi muito legal de poder observar como que eles poderiam brincar e ter isso em campo para poder testar, ter esse olhar voltado para a comunidade com uma linha mestra bem clara desse projeto ser mais educacional.
A qualidade final de resultado no grupo, com a comunidade, com as pessoas, com a integração. E é uma forma muito diferente de trabalhar.
É tudo muito novo, né? Se a gente for contar isso para alguém, do que a gente está fazendo, tanto do que a FAIS faz, do que o RICA faz, do que estamos juntos fazendo aqui, é uma junção de coisas muito novas e que deram origem a uma outra coisa muito nova. Então, acho que os resultados eles só podem ser uma coisa nova também e um impacto muito positivo, um potencial de escalonar isso é incrível.
Com esta evolução que é feita com o Instituto de Transformação do Povo, com formação mais sustentável e com o Instituto de Miralá e com outros parceiros, eu acho que de facto há um apoio institucional que pode dar, acho eu, e acredito que sim, pode dar a longevidade que esta forma de trabalhar, mas também a forma de comunicar o trabalho de design, que é em si muito diferente, que não é uma receita que é igual para todos, mas também desta ideia de a curiosidade e a humildade, que é muito importante, não é? Essa ideia de chegar a um lugar e não saber o que é que vai acontecer, mas a partir daí mostrar o que é que pode acontecer com outras geografias, outras pessoas. E acho que isso é muito inspirador para não só o consumidor final, vamos dizer, mas para estudantes, para outros designers, para pessoas que trabalham em grandes empresas ou pequenas empresas, que podem ver, às vezes ler um artigo, ver uma parte de um documentário, ler um texto que conta sobre esta experiência e que lhes fazem repensar a maneira como elas pensam, elas próprias, o que é que elas fazem. Eu acho que isso é muito poderoso.
O essencial é estimular que na comunidade esse produto, de alguma forma, seja identificado para eles, que eles podem merecer isso, que podem fazer para eles mesmos. E que talvez dentro de uma cadeia, dentro de um impacto, eles sejam menores de todos, o que mais justifique a presença aqui do design.
So one important outcome, one of the important outcomes was partnering also or bringing in the Mamirawa Institute. They are a very well-known research institute, the Amazon, and they look to that as they said, I can't believe you're talking about Morongok, which is the name of the tree that they use to do their art crafts. They said, we started like 5 years ago research that was because nobody was looking to that tree. We started a research to evaluate how many trees, how they are cutting down, and how the community is using, and they saw that as an opportunity to implement a new research, phase 2 of this first one, which is implement experimental sustainable forest management of this species. And they were able to get some funds straight after the video release, which was great. So they will implement these new forest studies to understand how the sustainable management can be done. And so one of the other developments, you saw in the video that products were not finished yet, and a lot of people there that was speaking talk about educational choice, and we really saw an opportunity there as we could they could produce toys, not just for them to use, but also for the whole universe of kids that fast in a way sport. So we strengthened our relationship internally with Natalia, who leads the education and social program. She leads an early childhood program that supports pregnant and kids from 0 to 6 years with guiding and training their local agents, health agencies to better develop kids and the relationship with parents, their bonds, and so on. So these toys will be made for those kids, and then so this initial idea that this is for them to use, and after that it can reach the market. But the market pressure for those products are amazing. I was like a week ago in UK, and the guy said, I attend like 20 meetings, and those guys, oh, I love Brazilian nuts, but I want this. Oh, I love chocolate, but how can I buy that? I said, okay, let's talk later. So we developed 3 or 4 actually sets of toys. Those are constructor blocks that you can see when you saw the video. You can really see that they represent the community. And the things that are here, the sand, the master of the sand, the water, the generator, was something that was part of the process. Like we invited them to tell about the things that they saw that belongs to them, and things like that. So very beautiful. So we have a memory game too with the same icons. We have puzzles for 2 to 3 years, simple one, 3 pieces, 1 color. And we have puzzles for 3 to 6, 9 pieces, 2 colors, and more complicated set of figures, of images. And then some takeaways. I hope that you really take away something from here. And one of our discussions that we like to think that we are innovators and also disruptive, but most of the time we talk with the sustainability sector inside companies, sustainability directors, the management, and so on. But as we got this bond, as we start talking and the project goes, even before going to the ground, they see the amazing potential of innovation. So one of the lessons that we learned over those years is that sustainability can provoke and lead to innovation, which is, as a biology, it's I feel very emotional about sustainability, innovation, technology, in some way. The other things that I mentioned in the beginning, that community and its traditional knowledge are amazing. They were tested over the time, they are real, and they are really valuable sources for innovation. And we do need innovation to shift to a sustainable lifestyle. Many times we need to not innovate or maintain traditional knowledge, but in general terms we do need innovation. Again, purpose. You saw me in the video talking about purpose. I found my purpose, so I know what I'm saying. It's more, as a student, I think that I always knew that I would like to do biology. I really knew that at the time, by watching Jacques Cousteau movies and books, that I would like to be marine biology, and I really believe that. Maybe one day I can find a way. I did my whole graduation focus on that. After that I went to work for Galapagos, diving, doing some research, marine biology things, and well, the course of my life, and I really enjoyed Professor talking when we had like 6 or 7 hours in the airport waiting for our beloved Victor. And I said, I haven't done a master, PhD or something like that. I haven't done too many courses. And then he said, no, but the course of your life. And then I said, no, I need to write it down because it's the same word. My psychologist will love that association. And it was very important to me. So we build ourselves, and if we are connected to our purpose and you are open to new things, the thing that you are willing to happen will happen. It's not magic, but it helps brings more confidence, safety, and development. So maybe still better, so maybe other words. And emotional connection. Ali, the group that went to the Amazon, I'm pretty sure you'll never forget this journey because you are connected by your heart there, not just your mind, not just what you saw, it's your heart. So, and something that our board of director president loves to mention, he's a very important businessman in Brazil, and we always think big, start small, and walk fast. And once Barack Obama at COP22 in Paris, he said, we are the first generation suffering climate change, and probably the last one to be able to do something. And I think we share the same ideas. And so I really would like to thank you for this possibility, this invitation. And as Victor mentioned, we are always open for collaboration. If you really have an idea or a doubt or something, we will be there for you. And I hope to see you soon, but also in Brazil, in the Amazon. So come to Professor Martin, he will explain about what we are doing. I'm already selling the course. It's not approved yet, so don't. So those are my contacts. Feel free to contact me, and thank you very much.